Yeah. How do you feel about that?
It's a mess, man. I saw your tweet. Yeah, no, that's kind of ridiculous. I agree with you for once.
How has this week been for you guys? What have you been doing in practice to make up for like 8 days with no games?
We treat every day like a learning experience. You know what I mean? Come in every single day and work on our defense first and foremost, because that's where games are won and lost. Obviously, we've got a lot of offensive talent, but I think we've got just as much defensive talent, and because of all the new faces, we need to make sure we're all on the same page. And I think once we get to a point where everyone's on the same page on both ends of the floor, we're going to be hard to stop.
Where do you stand on the preseason that you had? Do you feel like minutes are going to be ahead for you?
I mean, I feel like obviously I played well this preseason, put a lot of work in the off season, and I feel confident in my game right now. So whatever ends up happening in terms of minutes or opportunities, I know that I'll be ready to step up, and I'm confident that I'll make the best of it.
Josh, if you had to kind of boil down the team's defensive philosophy for this season, what would that be?
I mean, for us, it's a lot about help defense. Trusting each other out there. I think a lot of it's going to come down to, you know, making teams take the shots that we want them to take. Obviously, the way the game is changing, there's a lot more three-pointers involved and people who want to take threes or get to the rim or free throw line. So being able to force teams that are taking the shots we want and relying on each other to help out in situations where somebody might get beat.
Speaking of the way the game's changing, 4 and 5 are so different than they used to be, and you've played some minutes both places now. Were you prepared for that coming in? Did you think that was going to happen a little more?
I mean, obviously I've been keeping track of how the game's been changing as the years have gone on. You know, when I first came into the league, it was much different even than it is today. Obviously, first coming in, 3 was pretty much my designated spot. But, you know, like you said, everything's changing. The 4 is changing, the 5 is changing. There's been many times where I've been, you know, in at the 4 and Jeremy at the 5, or times where I've, you know, like last game I guarded Plumlee. Like, that's just the way it's going. And I've been keeping track of it, so it wasn't a huge surprise, and I feel like I'm prepared to do it.
Are you comfortable with that? Like, were you comfortable when you're out there and they say take Plumlee?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think that's defensively, that's something I've always wanted to be able to show, is that my versatility guarding a lot of different positions.
You obviously haven't had a chance to go full on with Patrick in practice, but what has he been like in practice, and in terms of what he does on the court, or what he's been able to contribute?
Yeah, I mean, Pat's looking good. Obviously, he hasn't been able to step out there and play really live a whole lot yet, but he's a guy who can spread the floor. I mean, he's known for that. He's a really good three-point shooter, so being able to spread the floor with him, and then he's got good size so that he can play the 4 and the 5 as well. Big guy, strong guy, so I'm really looking forward to seeing him out there.
Can you get a sense of what a guy's going to be able to contribute even if he's not participating in contact stuff in practice?
Yeah, I mean, you can just take, by just looking at how they move, how they shoot the ball, and I've seen Patrick play before, obviously, so I mean, when I look at him, I see somebody that can definitely come in and contribute right away as soon as he gets healthy.
What is it do you see in particular? You talk about the movement. I mean, what is it that Patrick does that stands out to you?
Just along with his size, he's you can tell he's athletic. He can move well. Somebody that I'd be confident knowing that he could go to 5, but then also if he was playing the 4 and he wanted to switch, that I would trust him on the perimeter with the guard as well.
You were really active as a ball screener during the preseason, just kind of setting those screens and popping a lot. Do you roll ever off of those screens? Is that something that you did, or are you more of a popper?
I mean, obviously, I think because of my three-point shooting, popping is something that I try to do, but rolling is definitely something I want to mix into it as well, because the way teams guard us, the way they jump out at guys like Russ and Paul and Melo, leaves that pocket open on the roll. So it's something I want to mix into my game and start doing a little bit more going forward.
How do you? What's going through your mind when you come down the court, because you were really active, especially with the bench units, setting those ball screens. So how do you decide when you're going to set the ball screen to initiate the possession, when you're going to go to the wing, and when you're going there?
I just take a look at the spacing. I mean, if I'm in a position where if I were to go set a screen, it would get everything kind of crowded up, I stay away. But if I see a guy with the ball and it looks like he's getting pressured a lot, or the offense is getting kind of stagnant, that's when we really want to set those ball screens to get the offense moving again, shift the defense, things like that. So it's all a read.
Anything else?
All right. Thanks, everybody.